Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I am in the beautiful Chiltern Hills. It's a beautiful sunny day and I'm going to be running you through a really cool, interesting new product, and I'm hoping that it's actually going to solve my biggest problem with the Sony a6700. So for those of you that are frequent visitors of the channel, you will know that on the whole, I absolutely love this camera, but I have got one major issue with it, and I'm hoping that this new product is going to solve all of that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So like I said, I have always found that there's been this one really annoying thing with the a6700, and I think it's safe to say it goes for a lot of other cameras as well. It's not just this one camera. Basically, it's the fact that I have had to buy an extra product that I actually don't really want, but at the time when I bought the camera, it was actually the only thing that was available. So, you know, I really don't think I made a mistake or anything like that. But the fact is, I had to buy a camera cage, and I don't mind camera cages on the whole. And the one for the a6700, it's made by Small Rig, and it's a good camera cage. It's a good product, does the job. And as I say, it was my only option at the time. So really and truly, I had to do it. So this is it. So this is the camera cage. You can have a little look there, and you can see it adds quite a bit of bulk to the camera on the whole. So not only is it the cage that goes all the way around it, but it's also having to have two of these capture clips. So I've got the Peak Design one there, and then I've got the one that comes with the camera there. So it means anytime I want to just clip my camera to my bag, I can quickly do that, and then I can unclip it and get to shooting. So I haven't minded it so much. It has been something that I've learned to live with, and I've kind of learned to enjoy it actually, and there are some benefits to it. Number one, it does make it a bit bulkier around it, but actually I've dropped this a couple of times and the camera cage has been the thing that saved me, or saved the camera. So it's meant that it has dropped, but because it's protected all the way around, it's meant the camera has no damage to it, not even a scuff on it, and there has been that really good benefit. It also, coming from a full frame camera with the A7R3, it makes it a bit bulkier, and again, that's not a terrible thing. You know, it's nicer to hold in the hand having a decent sized camera, especially I don't have particularly big hands, but as a man, you know, there's a benefit to having a bigger camera because the actual body of this is quite small. But overall, would I want to use it if I didn't have to? No, I would rather there's another option, and now I'm very happy to say that there is. So you can see how nice and small and sleek the camera can be without the cage on it. So this is exactly how big it is. I'll take the lens off quickly just so you can see. It is a lovely small compact camera, and that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to buy it. So I do a lot of hiking in the summer months, and I want to have my kit as lightweight as possible really. So having that big bulky cage on it really defeats the purpose, but I do really enjoy using a camera with an L-bracket. So before this camera, I was used to using an L-bracket on all of the cameras that I owned before. So it was a bit of a negative that I then had to change my workflow and change my style of shooting to suit this camera, because the reality is with a normal L-bracket, or all of them that were on the market at the time for the a6700 when I bought it, it would mean that when you flip the screen out, you actually can't have full maneuverability, and this was one of the main reasons I bought the camera. So I wanted a camera with a really good flippy touchscreen, and then to not be able to use that touchscreen in the way that I wanted to would have defeated the whole purpose of buying it. So that's the reason that I had to buy that Small Rig cage, and for the most part, apart from it being big and bulky, it did a really good job, and it meant I could use the flip screen, didn't have to worry about hitting into the metal of the L-bracket, and it worked really well. But now, look what we have here. Ta-da! So this is a product made by Leofoto. So I looked into this months and months ago, and it was only available in America. You had to have it shipped over, and it ended up being quite pricey when you put the shipping in and everything like that. So Americans, you will probably say in the comments, oh, we've had that for years, and you know, that's not a new thing. But for us in Britain, for it being on the market and easily and readily available, it is a new thing. So this is made specifically for the a6700. So if I just screw it on, so it just plonks onto the bottom like that, and it comes with a little tool there, and you just screw it in like so, and there we go. So it's on now, and then you put that there. It's magnetic, so it doesn't fall off or anything. And look at that. So that is now going to give me full maneuverability of the touchscreen. It also is so much smaller and more lightweight than the even another L-bracket. You know, another L-bracket would have a piece of metal that goes all the way up the side there, and luckily this literally only has that one little bit there. So that's such an improvement. It's even lighter than I would have expected. So this, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll pop it down here if I am wrong, but I think this shaves about 150 grams, it might be 100 to 150 grams off having this on there. So look at how big and bulky that is, and I can get rid of that now. So I will need a Peak Design clip on it still, so I'll put that on the bottom, but I don't need one on the side because it's got that little bit. That's all I need to be able to put it into the tripod mount. So I'll do that in a second. So you can see that even though it's that tiny little bit of metal there, that's all you need to actually clip it in. So it doesn't need that whole piece of metal going all the way along the side. And obviously if it were to go all the way along the side, then there would be some kind of interaction with the ports on the side. So that's where the SD card is, that's where you would plug it in to charge it or use an external microphone. So you can't block those ports, but all I need is that little bit down there. It's even got a threaded part there if I did need to attach, I don't know, another, maybe a handle or something like that if I was doing some video work. Not that I plan to, but that is a nice little thing that it's got there. So you can see it just works, you know, it's just all put on that tiny little bit. So that is the key really. Just that one little piece of metal allows me to put it in. Oh. So that's a little bit of a negative. That wasn't planned at all, but I thought that was in there and it wasn't. So that's a little bit, oh yeah, look at that, that is coming out. Honestly, this wasn't planned at all. I was going to talk about how good of a product this is, so hopefully so yeah, that's definitely in now. So that is something that I'm definitely going to have to bear in mind. There is a little bit more risk, maybe quite a bit more risk, that I may misalign it and it's not actually screwed in properly. So I will just have to be quite careful of that, especially just as I'm learning to use it. You know, there is going to be that element that maybe I think I've screwed it in properly and it's all nice and tight and it isn't. So wow, I honestly wasn't expecting that to happen, and it wasn't scripted at all. So it's quite useful that you guys have found that out at the same time that I have. So yeah, it's not a perfect product then, is it? There is a little bit of risk there, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I am able to quickly switch and use it as I was used to using a camera before with an L-bracket on. Quickly switch between portrait and landscape like that. So let's say I've got one scene that I really want to capture a portrait shot and a landscape shot. I can quickly change it, or maybe I change my mind halfway through shooting the scene and all of a sudden I think, you know what, this actually would be better as a portrait. I can quickly do that, which I could obviously with this, but it's just that benefit of saving all that weight and bulk. You know, I don't have to use that camera cage anymore. So let's actually take a photo. So there we go, first photo taken with it. It holds it absolutely fine, and just check sharpness there. Never going to win any prizes, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So overall then, would I recommend this product? I've got it hanging here actually, and it all works absolutely fine. There are a couple of things to mention. Yes, it's a great product. Two things to be aware of, really, maybe three. The first one obviously is the fact that you will have to just double check that it's actually seated in the tripod mount, just because, you know, especially when you're getting used to the product, it may actually just feel like it's in there, as what happened to me. Oh, let me just try this gate. Difficult one-handed. Oh, there we go. So yeah, as you saw just happened to me. I thought it was seated in there, but it actually wasn't in the end. So just be aware of that. The other thing to be aware of, this little magnetic tool that actually just fits underneath. Whoa. That was good. It just does magnet on there, which does work, but on the small rig camera cage, let me just turn the exposure down a bit, quite bright. There we go. Yeah, on the small rig one, there's a bit of a lip that actually just keeps it from falling out. It actually has to become demagnetized and then slip all the way out, whereas this, all it has to do is basically maybe be knocked and it will come off. Like even now I'm just literally just tapping it off, so I may have to put some tape on there to make sure it doesn't just fall off. And the last thing, again, like I said at the beginning, with the small rig cage, it actually protects it. That's obviously not its intention, and it's not there as a camera protector, but it does do that. Like I said, I have dropped it and the camera's been protected because it's got that cage going all the way around it, whereas this doesn't now, so it is a little bit more open to getting scuffed and banged and things like that. So I will just have to check on that and make sure it's not something that ends up being an issue. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think as products go, it's pretty much the best solution you can get. I don't see how this could be improved at all. So overall, it gets a real thumbs up from me, and I will be using this now with this camera for the foreseeable future, and we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned to the channel if you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening with the channel, but maybe just to see how it goes. Maybe in a couple of weeks time I'll be back to using the small rig cage again. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the bell if you want to stay up to date on everything. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.